This is our sky. This is literally the moment your old identity will die. This is the moment a new path opens up for you. This is the moment your body tells the truth that your mind has been avoiding. And this is the moment the warrior steps forward. Hello, beautiful souls. It's Dr. Danny, physician astrologer. Welcome back to the channel. Today's presentation is on the coming full moon in December, on December 4th of 2025. I don't know what this Farmer's Almanac is calling this moon. I'm calling it the warrior moon because of the position of Mars and its aspects to the lunar nodes the past couple of weeks. It's been a tough spot with an Ophiuchus Mars that is square both of the lunar nodes. So we'll be looking at the Mars remedy for this full moon as well. Those of you with Taurus Rising, Leo Rising, Aquarius Rising, and or Scorpio and Ophiuchus Rising, you guys, we all have a very tough lunation coming up because it is hitting our major angles of our charts. So those of you with Taurus rising, for example, you're going to have the moon and sun in your first and seventh house and the nodes in your 10th and fourth house. Those of you with the other signs will also have either the sun and the moon or the nodes on one of your four angles. So why is that important? Well, part of this presentation today is I'm going to give you a reinforcing lesson on the angles, why they are important in astrology, and why those four rising signs in particular are going to have a very interesting month. In general, this moon is happening in constellation Taurus. This is not a Gemini full moon. Maybe if you're using the tropical or planetology seasons, but if you're looking in the actual sky, the moon is in Taurus. So we are going to read this moon as a Taurus moon. We are going to read the sun as an Ophiuchus sun, and we're going to look at the lunar nodes, south node in Leo and north node in Aquarius. So I don't really have a whole lot of announcements. I thought we'd just get right into it. I've got, let's see, three parts to this. The first part, we're going to talk about the angles. The second part, I'm going to give you the general astrology of this full moon. And then the third part, we're going to go through it by your rising sign. So if you don't know where your rising sign is, you need to click on the link to the free chart calculator in the description. Go there, put in your details, and then on the left side of the chart where it says AS or ASC, that constellation is your rising sign. So with that, I will share my screen and we will get into reading this moon. Okay, friends, we're going to walk outside because that's what astrologers do. This is my sky around the time of the full moon, and it will be right before sunset. So the moon is actually not risen yet. So, however, what we're going to do, and I want you to see the date here. This is December 4th. We are going to remove the atmosphere. We are going to remove the landscape, and then we are going to put in the constellation lines and then the art. And then I want to show you the moon. So just below the horizon at around 4:30 will be the full moon. And you see that it is not in Gemini. It is indeed, Gemini's over here. That's where Jupiter is. You can see it's right here in Taurus. And Uranus is here with the Pleiades. So this is the energy we're working with. Yes, we're going to use the quote unquote Western tropical interpretations of this, but these are way more ancient than the system itself. And we're using the energies of the planets that are also way more ancient than the tropical system. So we're bringing our astronomy knowledge back into our astrology knowledge for this practice of analyzing this moon. And then over here, we have an Ophiuchus sun. So you can see this here. The sun is squarely in the caudal region of the serpent bearer. And so what does this mean? Well, just energetically speaking, when you have Taurus moon opposing an Ophiuchus sun, we're not talking about symbology here, right? We're going to feel this in our bodies because Taurus is our body. This full moon will probably reveal to us where we've been gripping, bracing, avoiding, overexerting ourselves. There is a deep honesty here too, because when you're dealing with the energy of Ophiuchus, anything but the truth, but the gnosis is easy to see right through. So the whole point of this full moon is you're going to feel something in your body that is going to give you a signal. Okay. And it'll be and what's so important about this full moon axis is that the sun is at the galactic center and the moon is at the other end of the galaxy. Right. So you have this silver gate here between Taurus and Gemini, and then you've got this Ophiuchus energy over here, Ophiuchus and Orion, the two male energies of the zodiac staring across the sky at one another. So the body's going to tell the past, and the body will also choose the future. This energy is also square the lunar nodes, and lunar nodes often speak of a skipped step when it comes to evolutionary astrology. But this square feels more literal to me. It feels like looking down to the top on the top of a pyramid. The full moon is the crisis that makes evolution non-optional. And Aquarius, which is where the North Node is, will demand liberation. Leo also demands liberation and sovereignty, and together they erase any and all excuses. This is also going to purify. There's a lot of energy of purification and healing here. And it'll be through pressure, burning away any distortion. So while Taurus is trying to, hold on to things, Ophiuchus is going to be transmuting and healing it. And the square to the nodes will force you to choose which impulse is going to win. It doesn't really matter which one's right. Whichever one is for you for right now is going to be the right one. But you're going to have to ask yourself, do you want comfort or do you want freedom? And it doesn't matter what the answer is, as long as you know what it is and it is authentic. Taurus is also the energy that we rely on. And Ophiuchus is what we've become after the death of the old self. And the nodes will show a karmic pattern that might be blocking the way. So even if this doesn't feel amazing, it's definitely going to show you something that you need. The full moon is going to make the gap visible and undeniable. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And then, of course, we have Mars is going to leave his place where he's squaring the lunar nodes from last week, and he is going to square Saturn and Neptune. Then Mercury, Venus, and Black Moon Lilith, all right here in this space, are going to be opposing to Uranus. Jupiter is in a grand trine to Saturn and Neptune, and they are also in a grand trine to Mercury, Black Moon Lilith at Venus. So we have this very stable grand trine. We have the sun and moon squaring the lunar nodes. And then we have some beautiful aspects with the outer planets that are supporting our personal transformation. So this is our sky. This is literally the moment your old identity will die. This is the moment a new path opens up for you. This is the moment your body tells the truth that your mind has been avoiding. And this is the moment the warrior steps forward. So this is our sky. Let's go ahead and dive into the presentation where I will discuss the cardinal angles of our birth charts so that those of you with Taurus Rising, Aquarius Rising, and Leo Rising, and Ophiuchus Rising will know why this is such a special lunation for us. All right, the November full moon, the warrior awakens by rising sign. I just want to take a minute before we get into this presentation to thank all of you channel members that have been supporting this work. Those of you with the gold stars have been here since the beginning, and we are a small community, but slowly growing. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you for your contribution, for your support, for your well wishes, for your beautiful comments. Thank you so much for being a part of this with me. Let's get into rising signs. So rising signs, the link is in the description. You can go and run your chart and see what sign is on the left side of the chart, right there at the cusp of the first house. And that is your rising sign. The planet that rules that sign is the ruler of your chart. The ascendant is by far one of the most important parts of the chart. This was the sign that was rising the moment that you were born. So if you open your eyes and you look to the eastern sky, whatever constellation is sitting there right now is the rising sign. right now. So if someone was born right now, that would be their rising sign. This changes about every 2 hours or so. And almost every system of astrology wants to know what the ascendant is, because this is the most important part of the chart. Okay. It is literally so much part of you and so instinctually part of you that sometimes you don't even know that this is what you project out into the world. Right. So if you think about it by comparing it to maybe the sun or the sun is the self or the ego, the moon is the heart and the emotions, and the ascendant is the outfit and the hairstyle or the appearance. And it's your first and lasting impression to the world. It can absolutely speak to your physical form, and it can also give and deplete your energy. And of course, the planetary chart ruler will play a significant role in your life. So, for example, I have Taurus rising, so Venus is my chart ruler. I'm very interested in what Venus is doing in the sky and in my chart. And so that's how you should look at your own astrology. Like, what is your rising sign? What is the ruler of your chart? This is by far and away the most important one. And so for Leo rising, you're going to have the South Node in your first house. For Taurus rising, you're going to have the moon in your first house. For Ophiuchus and Scorpio rising, you're going to have the sun in your first house. And for Aquarius rising, you're going to have the North Node in your first house. And when you look at the astrology, this will make more sense. But I wanted to speak to this because this is literally one of the most important angles in the chart. And I'm loving that you guys are resonating with these readings, because I want to give you accurate and as personal as I can give you. If you want something more accurate, more specific for your situation, you want to check out my website where my readings are. Now, the descendant is on the opposite side of the chart. So wherever that left-handed eastern horizon sign is, you look 180 degrees directly across the circle to the 7th house. And that is your descendant. And the descendant is whatever was setting on the western horizon at the time and the location of your birth. So if I look over to the western horizon right now, whatever that sign is, that's a descendant. And it's how we interact with others on an interpersonal level, right? It often speaks about your relationships. The 7th house cusp representing the qualities we seek in a partner and in romantic relationships. And it opposes our ascendant and represents the traits we might project onto others. So in other words, if there's someone in your field, in your environment, in your life that you absolutely hate, they drive you crazy, they trigger you, there's something in you need to look at. It's not their fault. They're just being who they are. They're just living out their code. And maybe their purpose is to rub you the wrong way so that you see something about yourself. Now, that's not always the case. There are genuinely jerks in the world. But how do you let that jerk affect you? That's your choice. And it is also the traits that you love about other people. So when you're crushing on someone, right, you look across the room and you see this amazing, magnetic, wonderful person. You just want to be in their life and you just want to be on them and in them and just know them. The thing that you're attracted to is literally what you are as well. So everything that you hate and everything that you love, those two polar opposites, the 7th house is going to show you through your reflection of other people. So it's a unique insight into important interconnections related to relationship dynamics. So whenever we do a relationship chart, we definitely look at the 7th house. We also look at Venus and Mars and Jupiter and all the interpersonal planets, but the 7th house is truly the most important chart. It also reveals your shadow side and what you might struggle with in relationships. And I highly recommend this video, The Self You Don't See. It's a deep exploration into the 1st and the 7th house from a modern mystic's perspective. We talk about projection. We talk about reflection. I show you how to analyze that axis of projection and reflection. So that is a great video. I will leave a link to this down below so you can review that. And it's part of a larger playlist. Now, when we look at your midheaven, this is the very top of your chart. This is basically high noon. Okay, so if I were to go outside and look straight up and find the ecliptic, that would be the midheaven of right now. And it is the part of the zodiac that is in the highest part of the sky at the moment of birth. It represents the most public parts of your life, such as your career, your goals, your reputation, and your legacy. And it gives you clues to your natural talents, the best career suited for you, and the way that you appear in public. So what's in your 10th house? What sign is there? What rules that sign? Because then you know the ruler of your 10th house, and then wherever that ruler is placed for your 10th house can give you an idea about what you're going to do in life. Okay. So my what do I have? I have Aquarius in my 10th house. And that's ruled by either Uranus or Saturn. So if we use Uranus, I got Uranus in Virgo in my 5th house. I'm supposed to change things. I'm supposed to become an expert in something and change it and do it differently. I also have Jupiter in my 10th house, retrograde. So I am to be a teacher, a spiritual teacher. That's what I'm supposed to be. And in fact, I love it. I actually absolutely love teaching and love relaying information that I feel would serve people. So you look at your midheaven for clues about what you're supposed to do. It's really, really awesome how it works, actually. And if I use Saturn, then Saturn's in my Gemini in my 2nd house. So Saturn will give me the structures to make tons of money if I have enough knowledge. And so that's what I do. I spend a lot of time gathering knowledge so that I can teach, so that I can do what what I love, and what I'm best suited to do. And it's the image we choose to project to society. It can also identify the best way to approach success. And then finally, your coli or your IC. This is that 4th house energy. It's all the way at the bottom of the chart. It's like your deepest, most private part. Think of you naked in your bathroom at your house. That's the place nobody goes, right? I mean, at least that's how it should be, right? That should be your private space where you pick your boogers, you shave all the hair off, you know, look at your teeth, stick your tongue out. Like this is the spot, okay? Where you do it. It's very private. You don't share this with anybody. There may be even parts here that you don't know about yourself. And it's connected with what we're trying to even hide from ourselves sometimes. So the deepest depths of your inner world, and it underpins what kind of domestic foundation you should create for yourself. So what's in your 4th house? I have Leo in my 4th house, and I have Mars there. So actions centered around the home. I take actions very personal. It can represent qualities or characteristics of your upbringing as well. So it can describe your childhood and how you were taken care of. It can also help you understand your past because it can relate to memories, triggers, or life lessons. So you look in your 4th house for sort of the tougher planets. If you feel like you've got something that you have PTSD about, you were victimized, that could potentially be in your IC. Because again, this is a spot of extreme vulnerability. So if there's any kind of violation or boundary slippage here, it's pretty traumatizing. So I highly recommend you watch this video. It is also part of that playlist, the analysis of the houses for the modern mystic. This is the pillars of purpose, 4th house and 10th house. This is rooting and recognition. Where do you put your roots? And where do you stand up and be recognized? And that's your 4th and 10th house. Okay. So these are the 4 angles that Taurus Rising, Leo Rising, Ophiuchus Rising, and Aquarius Rising are going to be dealing with during this full moon. So real quick before we get into the charts, I want you to know that you can connect with me through free support by liking this video. If the hype option's available, go ahead and hit that for me. I'd really appreciate it. I will never hit the leaderboard, but hey, you never know. It only takes one little click. And I really appreciate it. You can also subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed. Hit the notify bell so you know when my videos come out and when I go live. You can also share this if you know somebody who is a Leo rising, a Taurus rising, an Ophiuchus rising, or an Aquarius rising. You can also join our fellowship of 13 signs on Facebook. If you want to step it up and join the channel and become one of our Stargazer community members, you can join and cancel anytime. We do a monthly Zoom call on or around the new moon. You also get a first look and exclusive content over there. You can send one as a gift when we're live. You guys also get a 13% discount on any of my readings, even if you've only joined for a month, okay? You can click on my website and get a reading. You can click on my course website and take a course. I also have a book on Amazon called The 13th Sign, Ophiuchus and the Astrology They Don't Want You to See. So that's how you can connect with the work that we're doing over here. Let's get into this full moon chart. So here it is. This is December 4th of 2025. Where I live, it'll be about 4 o'clock in the afternoon or so. And you can see here, I've labeled the ascendant. So when you pull up your natal chart on that free chart calculator, you're going to look at this part of the chart right here. And this, if you don't know these symbols, there are plenty of glossaries and keys and legends online where you can get the symbols for the various constellations. So I won't review that here, but on this chart, this is Pisces. So we have Pisces rising in this chart at the moment of the full moon. And when we did the chart in stellarium, you could see that the moon was under the horizon and the sun was a few hours from setting. So this is going to be a bright, gorgeous moon in Taurus that night. This is a very somatic moon, right? This is our body. This is the energy. This is how we feel good. Taurus moons typically do feel good, but the energy blasting in from the Milky Way galactic center, this is not sweet energy for the body. You might get an amazing download that you feel. Like it might feel like a gut punch. You might feel a shake. You might feel a vibration in your body. And it's literally you just taking in the energy of this full moon. But here's what's super interesting. So here's what we're getting into for the different rising signs. Taurus, if you're rising, you're going to have the moon on your ascendant. Leo, you're going to have south node. Aquarius, you're going to have north node. And Scorpio and Ophiuchus, you're going to have the sun. And this is a mystic cross. This is the crucible of change, of fire, especially when the nodes are involved, because it involves our destiny. It involves working through karma. And so these hits may be ancient. They might be karma you thought you got rid of. It might be karma that you never thought you would ever have. And it's coming in through here, and it's making you decide between, the future and the past. And it's not always an easy choice for people. It really depends. That's why we're going to do this by rising sign. That's why I'm emphasizing these 4 rising signs, because you guys are going to be hit on the critical angles: the ascendant, the midheaven, the descendant, and the IC. On top of that, we have this grand trine between Saturn direct and Neptune retrograde. Neptune will be retrograde until the 10th. We're creating this very strange situation where Saturn is moving this way and Neptune is moving this way. And when Neptune's retrograde, the veil's lifted. You can see through it all. You understand it all. You know it all on a very high, not even mental level, just on a soul level. You know things. And Saturn is bringing you the results of your hard work. So hopefully you've been continuing the hard work and you're getting the blessings coming in. And so there may be a clear focus, a clear vision forward here. And this is one corner of this grand trine. This is a long-standing grand trine that we've been working with for a while. And it's aspecting Jupiter retrograde. So remember, if you were born with Jupiter direct and Jupiter is now retrograde, be very generous while Jupiter is retrograde. When Jupiter turns direct again, you will receive. And if you were born with Jupiter retrograde, now is the time for you to receive. Okay, so allow receiving. So you're going to have clarity of your vision. You're going to be receiving or giving here with Jupiter. Jupiter is going to expand our mental capacity to handle all of this deep information that's coming through on this side, which is Black Moon Lilith in Libra. So what's been hidden is coming up. That's what this whole Mercury retrograde, now direct, has been about. And Mercury's not done with Black Moon Lilith. He's got one more pass over her just a few days after this full moon. So I feel like by the 10th of December, everything that's going to be revealed will be revealed. And then the information pipeline will quiet down. It'll dull down again. It won't be as impactful. Then, of course, we have Mars, who has been recently in the bends with the lunar nodes, but is now in a square to Saturn and Neptune. So whenever you have a square with Saturn and Mars, it feels like stepping on the gas and stepping on the brakes at the same time. But this Mars and Ophiuchus, it's a very paradoxical energy. Mars is usually your testosterone, your adrenaline, your bravery, your fight, your fornicate energy. It's usually action. But Ophiuchus Mars is the warrior of surrender. This is the warrior who surrenders. There is no, the fight is to not fight. The fight is to be the spiritual surgeon and to cut the things away that cause you angst and reactivity and let them go and start the cycle fresh again. This is a new kind of year for Mars moving through Ophiuchus. This is the end. This happens every 2 years. So Mars will move through Ophiuchus and into Sagittarius. This is like a rebirth moment for Mars. And the action, the activity level, the bravery, the fire is going to pick up a little bit. But right now, everybody feels a little bit like, I don't have the energy. And that's okay because all the work's internal right now. All of it. Mars is also in a trine to Chiron, which is square to Jupiter. So this trine means that Mars is capable of doing some very tremendous healing here without too much emotional reactivity. There's almost a surrender that's required here in order to let the shedding and the healing happen. Okay, so we've got this trine with Chiron and Mars. We've got this mystic square here. We've got this grand trine here. And then, of course, we've got this beautiful, the next thing we have is this amazing aspect between Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus. This is a very unique combination that doesn't happen all that often, and it can be with us for a very long time. It's been with us for several months. And it's almost as if the outer planets are supporting a tremendous transformation and upgrade. Okay. And then you've got 3i Atlas over here about to be birthed into the constellation of Leo through the gestation of Virgo. Okay. So this is the general energy of our sky. I think that's everything I wanted to touch on with you in terms of the major aspects that we're dealing with. Once we get into the individual rising signs, then it will become more personal for you. So make sure you go ahead and click on the link in the description so you can get your chart and get your accurate rising sign. And we will jump right into the readings for that right now. Okay, Leo Rising, you're first because you're the best. You're the most special. The sun rules your chart. You are an amazing energy. You're going to have the full moon in your 10th house, and you're going to have the south node in your first. You're going to have the north node in your 7th and the sun in your 4th house. So these are the specific predictions that I have for you, Leo Rising. There is going to be a truth around your career. You're not going to be able to keep a public mask on anymore. There's an exposure here that is going to happen. It might be a big deal. It might be a small deal. I don't know your specific situation, but you could have a boss, an institution, or an authority figure reveal that their motives. It could be somebody else, but you can't pretend not to see it. In other words, you're going to have to publicly acknowledge it. As far as your 4th house energy goes, a home or family tension will demand resolution before you can actually advance professionally. So someone at home needs clarity or a structural shift is needed in your living situation. As far as your 7th house goes, there's going to be a partnership that enters fated recalibration. So someone in your life, romantic, business, collaborative, mirrors back the exact identity pattern that you must release, Leo. All right. So someone in the sphere of relationships, of connections, of partnerships, collaborations, they're going to show you something that you have to let go. They're going to show you the thing that you need to acknowledge. And what's going to happen is that your body's going to react first. So if you are ignoring something like sleep disruptions, heat surges, chest pressure, or emotional tension, then that is where it's going to manifest outwardly. If you're paying attention to it, then this should be a little bit more mild. Something you've always done to maintain control will simply stop working as well for you, Leo. So a new way will emerge. Don't worry. If it does happen, you have to just kind of let it go, okay? And then, of course, that public moment of truth will be unavoidable. You're going to step out of an old professional identity and you will not be able to return to it. Here is the Mars remedy for you. Mars is going to be in your 4th house in Ophiuchus. These are just simple things you can do physically with your body that you will have energy to do that will help you manage the trine energy here and let the revelations come forward. So clean one room. Pick a room in your house, pick a room in your office, pick a room in your business, and just clean it or have it cleaned. Remove one object with emotional history that you no longer resonate with. Throw away that old shirt. Throw away that old bag. Secure one boundary with a family member. Tell them, you know what? I'm not coming this Christmas because I really want to do this Christmas. That's totally okay. and appropriate, and it will work, and it will put you on your highest timeline. Ground through food, through temperature and silence. So if you like the cold, be cold. If you like the warmth, be warm. Turn the radio off, turn the YouTube off, turn off your phone. Eat something delicious, sit by the fire. Just let it be still. Mars is going to want you to fortify your root here before your destiny moves into the spotlight. Okay. So there might be that revelation. You might have to sit with Mars, do a little physical activity, sit with the fire, and then the public recognition happens. Scorpio and Ophiuchus Rising. You beautiful souls will have the sun in your first house, the moon in your seventh house, the south node in your 10th, and the north node in your fourth house. Here's some specific predictions for what may happen for you. There's going to be a truth in your relationship that will become unavoidable. There's an intention somewhere, a commitment, or an emotional pattern that is revealed. The dynamic will reach a tipping point that shifts the balance of power, and it will be for clarity. You may also step into a brand new identity. With the sun and Mars in your first house, this is igniting a personal declaration. You choose yourself, your value, and your direction. And a part of you that has been dormant will wake up very, very aggressively. So there's going to be a new part of you that you're going to, like, aha, all of a sudden see. You may also experience, in terms of fourth house issues, there might be a private or a family member that resurfaces for you. And this energy is pulling your attention to your emotional roots, your living situation, or ancestral patterns. Something at home or within your inner foundation needs restoration or redefinition. And as far as your 10th house goes, there may literally be a culmination of your career storyline. The South Node is going to release old reputation dynamics, career expectations, public roles. You're letting go of a version of yourself that the world demanded. This is a chapter in visibility that ends so that a more authentic one can begin. So you might have to put something down here in the workplace. The full moon in your 7th exposes an imbalance and asks for recognition. So some relationships will strengthen after this full moon and others will dissolve. All your relationships will become clearer during this lunation. Your mission now becomes personal, right? The sun in the first house reframes your life direction. Your purpose is no longer an external script. It comes from deep within. Your authority is also going to restructure itself. You reclaim a piece of your power that you gave a boss or a partner or a parent or an institution. And the pressure you've silently carried is no longer sustainable. You may have already been feeling that as this full moon swells. So your Mars remedy for this, because this is feeling like a very raw awakening, your body is going to speak loud and it's going to speak first. So you need to take on heat therapy like the sauna, a hot shower, a steam bath. You need to do a physical purge, walking, dancing, stretching. You need to take one decisive act immediately. Do something immediately, physically. Whenever you feel the reaction energy rise, just do something. Take a walk, take a run. Name the desire that keeps rising. There's something within you that you want, and you need to pay attention to that. And remove one draining obligation from your life. Is there something on Tuesdays that you don't want to do anymore? Then don't do it. Because Tuesday's Mars's day. And then say no without buffering or apology. Like literally just say, nope, I'm not doing that on Tuesdays anymore. Mars wants you to take your power back. So your life force is the medicine here, and the body's your teacher. If you're feeling tired, if somebody suggests to do something and the reaction is not, yeah, let's do it, don't. Conserve your energy right now. This lunation is asking you to stop diluting your power and to step into the identity that you've been circling for months. All right, Aquarius Rising, your chart ruler is Uranus, and you are going to have the sun in your 10th house, the moon in your 4th house, the north node in your 1st house, and the south node in your 7th house. This is the mystic cross for you, Aquarius Rising. And here's some specific predictions for what you might go through during this full moon. There's going to be a public or professional breakthrough, breakdown, breakup that happens for you. A role, a title, or responsibility will suddenly shift. You might get a raise, you might get a promotion, you might change jobs completely. As far as your 7th house goes, there's a relationship that tests your sovereignty. Someone will ask more of you than you want to give, or they're going to withdraw to test your clarity. You may also confront some emotional foundations. Something in your living situation, family role, or inner stability demands attention. And then your identity accelerates faster than your life structure that you have right now. You feel yourself becoming someone your current environment cannot quite hold yet. Aquarius is always ahead of its time. And all of these combine to the question of belonging versus autonomy. And this full moon is going to expose any imbalances that are present. So for you, the Mars remedy, because Mars is also in your 10th house, is to make one decisive professional move here. Shift one boundary with authority or with your coworkers. Now, I'm not going to do that anymore, not unless you pay me more. Create a new structure for your time. In other words, set aside a little bit of time on Tuesday to do something for you. Mars wants your public willpower activated with a surgical precision. And Taurus rising, this is us. So we will have moon in our 1st house. We will have north node in our 10th house, 7th node or sun in our 7th house, and south node in our 4th house. Here are some specific predictions that may happen for Taurus rising. We're going to have an identity breakthrough. We are going to see ourselves clearly for the first time in months. And I can definitely agree with that, Taurus rising. There's going to be a relationship that reaches a turning point. This could be romantic, business, or collaborative. There'll be realignment, renegotiation, or an honest confrontation. So partners refuse to carry your silence, or you refuse to carry their inconsistency. As far as our nodes go, the career timelines are activated. We're going to feel a call of purpose with an unusual urgency here. And then home energy destabilizes temporarily. A family conversation or living space situation reaches a climax. Oh, yes, this lands for me. My husband and I are living in 2 separate houses right now because of the work we're doing on the lake house. So 4th and 10th, home and work. I have to be here and back and forth because I have work to do here. He's got to be up there because he has work to do there. And he's also an Aquarius rising. So we're both kind of in this crunch, in this tension space, but that's fine. We've done this before. And all of this culminates into the energy of our bodies speaking the truth before our minds. So we have to pay attention to our instinct. We have to pay attention to our appetite. We have to pay attention to our physical body more than any other rising sign for this lunation. Taurus rising, your Mars remedy, because it is in your house of relation, is to be brutally honest. You have to speak one clear truth to a partner or a collaborator. We'll need to clarify one relational line that we'll no longer cross. Like, you cannot say that to me anymore. When you have a problem, you need to say it to me this way. And it's really important that we act in alignment with our current values, not our old promises. Mars wants right action in relationships for you, Taurus rising, for us, Taurus rising. Sacred, clean, and non-negotiable. Now we will begin the rest of the houses, and I will start with Pisces rising. Doesn't mean that this full moon isn't any more impactful. It's just that for the rest of the signs, this mystic cross is not lying smack dab on your cardinal angles. For Pisces rising, you're experiencing a 9th house sun and a 3rd house moon, a 12th house north node, and a 6th house south node. So this lunation is activating your axis of learning. The sun is accelerating your spiritual truth, and the moon is exposing any mental clutter that you may have. Specific outcomes that you may see around this lunation for you, Pisces rising, is that a teaching, a teacher, or a spiritual path becomes crystal clear, or it collapses, which is also clarity. A sibling, a neighbor, or close contact reaches out in crisis or revelation. Pisces rising, you may have a sudden dream or vision with prophetic relevance. It's that 12th house and north node. With the 6th house, you may have health or routine disruptions that force a recalibration. All of this culminates in plans for travel, teaching, publishing, or learning. All of this is redirected by your destiny. And the Mars remedy here in your ninth house is to take a single courageous step towards the truth. Enroll in something, withdraw from something you don't want to give your energy to, publish that book you've been waiting to publish, speak on YouTube, leave the situation, act toward alignment immediately, and this will restore your clarity, Pisces Rising. Capricorn Rising. This mystic cross for you puts the sun in your 11th house, the moon in your 5th house, the north node in your 2nd house, and the south node in your 8th house. So this lunation will peak by striking your creation versus community axis. So the sun and moon are on the radiance and the resonance that you carry in your public space. The sun will reveal who is truly in your corner and who has your back, while the Taurus moon will push creative or romantic truth forward. Some outcomes you may deal with, a friend's jealousy, a friend's loyalty, or a friend's authenticity becomes unmistakably clear. So you're going to know who your friends are and who your enemies are after this lunation. A romantic situation reaches a turning point. Desire must match devotion. There's no turning back here. You either have to poop or get off the pot. A creative project gains attention, investment, or feedback, and money matters become the next necessary step in your evolution. And all of this culminates with an old entanglement or a shared resource that must be freed. So you must let it go. And the Mars remedy for you in your 11th house is to take bold initiative in community or collaboration, lead the group, set the standard, wave the flag, or simply cut ties with false alliances. This is very important because Saturn knows exactly what to do. Mars wants to do it. Mars has to do it because this is the end of the cycle for you, Capricorn Rising. Sagittarius Rising. Your mystic cross places the sun in the 12th house, the moon in the 6th house, the north node in your 3rd house, and the south node in your 9th house. So the predictive themes for you around this lunation is going to hit your health and your spirit, your karma and your enlightenment. The sun will illuminate your unconscious while the moon exposes physical stress patterns in your body. Some specific outcomes to look for is a hidden habit that reaches a tipping point. So sleep, food, stress, escapism, smoking, drinking, drugs, it's going to hit a tipping point for you. Not necessarily an overdose because Taurus is soothing, but something will come to the forefront where you're like, I need to stop doing that. A coworker, employee, or daily task will demand sudden attention. Okay, this is here in the 3rd house. You need to act immediately here. There might be a miscommunication that becomes karmic here in this 3rd house north node. A belief, a teacher, or a mentor loses relevance literally overnight with the south node in your 9th house. So someone that's been your guide and your guru, all of a sudden you're becoming smarter or better than them, or you see a side of them that you don't want to emulate anymore. And all of this culminates with uncovering the emotional root of an ongoing health issue. So your Mars remedy for this lunation is to withdraw, to meditate, to cut any overstimulation that's going on in your space. Reduce all digital noise. This is literally the most beautiful space for Mars and Ophiuchus to sit. Sacred solitude is your battleground, and this fixes everything faster than any action or reaction that you could possibly ponder, Sagittarius Rising. All right, so for late Virgo and all of Libra Rising, this will be energy for you. You're going to have the sun in your 2nd house, the moon in your 8th house. You're going to have the north node in your 5th house and the south node in your 11th house. So the predictive themes around this will be around your wealth axis, the 2nd and the 8th house, okay? The sun is going to expose what you must claim as your value, while the moon in your 8th house forces you to confront what is shared, owed, or entangled. Some specific outcomes for you might be something around a financial agreement, a loan, or a business partnership. A shared expense reaches a crisis point that demands negotiation. Someone who relied on your energy or resources loses that axis. Late Virgo or Libra rising, you're cutting somebody off here. A new romantic or creative project becomes the new priority. Even if old friendships or group involvements are disappointed here, you're moving towards something that is fresh and new and exciting. So whatever it is that's revealed Whatever breaks up, whatever reaches that crisis point is cut out immediately. And then you're going to move towards something greater, something more joyful. You might receive an unexpected money or an unexpected bill. So that the theme is balance of exchange. If you owe anybody something, that's coming to fruition. If somebody owes you something, it's also coming to fruition. There's going to be a sexual or intimate truth here that is also revealed, and it's clearing any long-standing confusions. So the remedy for you with Mars in your second house is to assert your worth, charge correctly, demand reciprocity. You are so important. You are so valuable. A single confident financial decision restores this balance immediately and completely. Beautiful Virgo rising. And you're going to have the sun in your third house, the moon in your ninth house, the south node in your 12th house, and the north node in your sixth house. So this full moon hits your mindset axis, right? The third and the ninth house. The sun in your third house is exposing your internal narratives, while the moon in your ninth expands or ruptures your beliefs. Situations involving writing, teaching, exams, publishing, or legal matters will reach a culmination during this lunation. Potentially a sibling or an extended family member may require a decisive involvement on your part. You may not want to do it, but they're going to need you. A piece of information arrives suddenly, and it forces you to take a different path than you had originally planned. Okay. Some specific outcomes that you may notice: that a travel plan may change suddenly. It may become necessary for spiritual or practical reasons. So you might have something planned and then you need to change it. And then there's a lot of really good, important reasons behind that. A contract, certification, or legal document reaches a breaking point, and a belief that you once held with certainty dissolves within 48 hours of this full moon. Okay. Someone's opinion about you becomes irrelevant because you see their pattern clearly. It's almost like, okay, not sure where that came from, but go on with yourself. I don't need you in my life. A sudden chronic health problem reveals its root cause here too. So if you've been working with something under the scenes, something subchronic, you're going to be able to go, aha, now I know what to do about that. Now, the Mars remedy for you in your third house is to speak the truth directly. Take one sacred action. What can you do right now today? Send the message, submit the document, say the thing that you've been avoiding. Swift communication and clarification is the remedy for Virgo rising. All right, Cancer rising. Your chart is ruled by the moon. Anytime we talk about a full moon, a new moon for you guys, it's always important for Cancer rising. Cancer rising, your chart is ruled by the moon. So anytime we talk about a new moon, a moon transit, lunar predictions, eclipses, it's always important for you because the moon, she rules your chart. You will have moon in your 11th, sun in your 5th, and then you will have the north node in your 8th house and the south node in your 2nd house. So this full moon is striking your creativity and your community axis. This is going to expose the tension between what you are creating and who you're creating it for. So the sun in your 5th house lights up desire, love, creativity, and the need for joy. And the moon in your 11th reveals the truth of your friendships, alliances, and audience expectations. This is the moment where your true voice confronts your social environment. So some specific outcomes you can look for would be a friend, a group, or online community reveals their true alignment with you. A creative or romantic leap becomes inevitable. In other words, you must choose joy over approval. You could have a collaboration or a social connection that hits a breaking point and requires some kind of clarity. That north node in your 8th house over here pushes you into deeper emotional honesty or a decision around shared resources, while the south node in your 2nd house is forcing you to release outdated beliefs around money or self-worth that keep you playing small. You may suddenly recognize who's draining your creative energy and who feeds it. So there might be a breakthrough here around love, sexuality, or artistic expression that arrives out of nowhere, Cancer rising. The Mars remedy for you guys is to move your body creatively. Dance, perform, sing, write, paint. Take one bold, pleasure-based action. Go on a date. Make a creative decision. Take a joyful risk. Choose delight over duty. for just one day. This clears the Mars tension and restores flow and balance. Hello, Gemini Rising. Mercury is your chart ruler. And for this full moon lunation, you're going to have the moon in your 12th house, the sun in your 6th house, the north node in your 9th house, and the south node in your 3rd house. So this full moon is striking your health versus spirit axis, your karma versus enlightenment. What do you feel like you have to do, and what can you release? The sun in your 6th house exposes what must be corrected in your body, schedule, work, or habits. The moon in your 12th house brings hidden emotions, dreams, fears, and long suppressed material to the surface. You're not going to be able to ignore what your spirit has been whispering anymore, Gemini Rising. Some specific predictions or outcomes that you may notice is that there is a health issue, a stress pattern, or some sort of exhaustion cycle that actually peaks and demands immediate adjustment. You're not going to be able to keep doing it the way you've been doing it. There's going to be a secret, an intuition, or a dream that reveals the truth that you maybe weren't ready to see earlier, but you're ready now. You may have a coworker, a client, or a daily task become a karmic turning point that requires decisive handling. You may also come across a belief, a philosophy, a teacher, or even a worldview that begins calling you forward out of what you've been doing and away from old loops of logic. And there's a communication pattern that you've certainly outgrown because it becomes impossible to continue. You need to do silence, you need to do an information detox, and you need to set firm boundaries around your space. There's a hidden emotional burden here that dissolves the moment you stop. Rationalize it, Gemini Rising. So your Mars remedy for this lunation is to work through your daily system. Your remedy is action-based, simple, and something that you can do right away. You're just going to have to clean one corner of your life, the desk, the inbox, the schedule, the diet, your sleep. You're going to have to do one disciplined act with precision. You're going to move energy through your body by stretching, sweating, walking, and you're going to reduce any unnecessary commitments for at least 24 hours around this moon. And you probably should change one habit that you don't like immediately. Even a small shift is going to break the karmic loop for you, Gemini Rising. Mars in the 6th wants purity, clarity, and clean execution. So one decisive adjustment will reset this entire cycle for you. All right, Aries Rising, Mars rules your chart. The Mars energy is so big this month. I know that you're feeling this. This lunation puts the sun in your 8th house, the moon in your 2nd house, the north node in your 11th house, and the south node in your 5th house. So the full moon's going to hit your value axis right in the feels. The sun exposing a shadow material around trust. There's going to be something that you have to expose around the issue of trust. The moon will force financial or emotional sovereignty. Some specific outcomes that you can look for, Aries Rising, might be a financial exchange, a shared resource, or a debt that hits a breaking point. So whatever energy, money flowing that you have going on right now, there's going to be something that just doesn't work anymore. You might have a romantic or creative entanglement with that south node in the 5th that demands clarity, some old pattern that you fall into. And your community or group might offer you an opportunity that suddenly emerges out of nowhere. And you're going to have to ask yourself those questions around relationship. There's also going to be the discovery of someone else's hidden motive. You might see that also. And then there is some sort of emotional attachment that you have to sever so that you can reclaim your energy, Aries Rising. And the Mars remedy for you is no joke. You have to release something with finality, a habit, an expectation, a financial tie. You have to let the purge clear the path for you in order to move forward. All right, that concludes our reading. I always lose my jacket during these readings because I get a little warm when I'm reading astrology. It's great. I love it. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please let me know in the comments section where all your energy is, what your rising sign is. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you're lurking, and to join the Fellowship of 13 Signs. And if you want to join the channel, we're going to meet on the 14th or 15th of this month for our monthly members Zoom call. So I hope to see some of you there. All right, you guys, I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great one.